Yo, what's good, bro, man? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, bro. It's the one, the only, but what do I know boxing? Back at you with another one off of Epic Night. But before I even get to what I gotta say about this fight, let me take y'all down memory lane just real quick. Here we go. This was in 2019. Make sure you read this for you. Read this for me, okay? This is in 2019. Hold on. I got something else for you. Bring this one in. This was March. Regardless of what of us wanting Charlo versus Canelo, I think Canelo deserves a lot of credit on taking Dmitry Bivol, because personally I think this is a very tough challenge that Bivol can win. And because of them judges, I didn't want to pick Bivol, but I always knew it. So let's get into the fight. First and foremost, bro, congratulations on a great performance by Dmitry Bivol. Man, listen, let me tell you something from the beginning. I'm gonna start from the beginning. When Canelo came out throwing hard shots, I promise you, I was like, bro, Canelo. So I knew what Canelo was trying to do. Canelo was trying to establish himself by having Bivol on the back foot. He wanted Bivol on the back foot because Bivol is the bigger fighter. And Canelo knew if Bivol was coming forward, that was going to spell all trouble for Canelo. However, the problem is Canelo's conditioning, once again, is not always up to par. I said this in the last video that I made about Canelo and Bivol. Canelo fights in spurts because he always had conditioning issues, bro. I said when this fight first started, Canelo was throwing these hard shots. I stated Canelo gotta be he better be careful, bro, because he gonna mess around and get tired in the later rounds. And I even wrote that. I should have put that on here too. I said I'm interested to see how Canelo is gonna hold up in the later rounds, because Canelo is known for having conditioning issues. All right. Canelo started aggressive. He started strong, right? Normally Canelo starts off slow. Normally Canelo feels his opponent out, but Canelo started off strong because he wanted to establish himself. However, the problem was in this fight, Canelo finally ran into somebody that did not fear his punches and was gonna dish something back out. Dmitry Bivol was pity-patting at first with his jab, trying to control his range with the jab. He was just sticking it out there, and what he, and I felt like he wanted Canelo. And sometimes I felt like he wanted Canelo to get comfortable with that, because Canelo opened himself a lot later on in the rounds. But he was just sticking the jab out there, sticking him, just touching him with the jab. And Canelo was trying to, do what Canelo does in his previous fights by walking Bivol down. He was trying to walk Bivol down, but Bivol was just touching him with the jab. Then what Canelo would do, Canelo did this one move like in the second round that was dope as hell. He like dropped like for a feint, and he like switched up and like got on the inside. I can't, like, he dropped for a feint, and he not stutter stepped, but he like, it was kind of like what Wilder did against Tavern when he dropped him, when he did that, like, that, not pivot, but he did that, like that Euro step type shit. But then, like, he got on the inside, and I'm like, okay, Canelo, getting good work on the inside. But Dmitry Bivol would constantly roll out, like Luda said, roll out. He rolled out of the corner and get back to establishing his jab. And what Dmitry Bivol was doing when he was establishing that jab is basically he was really getting his rhythm, but he was getting his distance, measuring Canelo and whatnot. Dmitry Bivol then started opening up with combinations. Canelo would normally do the slipping, but Dmitry Bivol, being that guy that had the more range, a better range, Canelo didn't. I don't think Canelo understood the distance that he was at, because Dmitry Bivol was able to hit Canelo where Canelo would normally get away with those shots. He would normally get away with slipping these guys, but Dmitry Bivol having more range, having a better range in a shot selection, Canelo wasn't able to slip out on punches. Dmitry Bivol was tagging Canelo with combinations. Canelo would throw combinations, and Dmitry Bivol at some point would throw in between Canelo's shots with the right hand, counter with the right hand, boom, and just stop Canelo in his track and just come up with more combinations. Canelo then fatigue then started to sit in. That's when fatigue started to sit in. Canelo then was trying to play possum on the ropes. You know how Canelo does play possum on the ropes. You can tell Dmitry Bivol studied Floyd Mayweather, because Dmitry Bivol he stayed on the outside and stayed poised. He would, he would just touch him, touch, pop, touch, pop. And then Dmitry Bivol started like really throwing combinations to Canelo. Once he measured Canelo and knew how to touch him in a distance where Canelo couldn't counter, man, he started tagging Canelo on them ropes, bro. Canelo would then try to come. Canelo was trying to throw to the arm like he did with Callum Smith a lot. And I knew that that's what he was trying to do. He would throw that vicious hook to the arm, and that would bring Bivol's arm. That you know what he was trying to do was basically get to where, because Bivol had a high guard that Canelo couldn't break, and Bivol, what he wanted to do was bring Bivol's arms down and make his arms heavier, and it wasn't working with Bivol. Bivol being the bigger fighter, it's just Canelo bit off more than he can chew. Bivol then once again would take control of the fight. Like I said, Bivol would not walk Canelo down, but push Canelo back, have Canelo on the back foot. Canelo could not fight a bigger guy like Bivol on the back foot. He just couldn't. He can't fight Bivol backing up. Bivol is a bigger guy. He's not I'm gonna say Triple G. He's not Triple G, where in the first fight Canelo was boxing more, or he's not. Bivol is the bigger guy, a much bigger guy. Canelo knew he couldn't fight him backing up, but Bivol would push Canelo and have Canelo on his back foot, and then just land beautiful combinations. By the 8th round, I'm telling, and I knew it, and I saw it coming. By the 8th round, Canelo was fatigued, dead. He was tired. Canelo, and you could tell he was. I always see it. I see it in every Canelo fight. I always tell people Canelo fight in spurts. He doesn't fight full 3-minute rounds. Canelo fights in spurts. I tell everybody that. But a lot of people didn't believe me. That's why I said this fight is the reason why I was leaning towards Canelo was because of the judges' scorecard. The reason why I was leaning towards Canelo was because of the judges' scorecard. But I stated that I really think Dmitry Bivol can win this fight, bro. I really do. Canelo would throw combinations towards, not even combinations, he would throw a hook and he would just drop his hands. And I was telling him, like, he's tired, he's fatigued. Canelo was getting frustrated, and there was one point where Canelo slipped and ducked, and he was underneath Dmitry Bivol's arm, and he picked Dmitry Bivol up. Canelo's strong now, he's strong as hell. He picked Dmitry Bivol up. Dmitry Bivol, like, and I was like, and I knew right then and there, I was like, now he frustrated. It was another time where Canelo was trying to slip underneath Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry Bivol put his forearm on the back of Canelo's neck, and Canelo dropped on the ground. Now, a lot of times, what that clarifies is that their fighter is tired. A fighter is tired or doesn't have his legs underneath him like he should. However, it is smart for a fighter to just drop down like that. It's smart for a fighter to just drop down to the canvas like that when somebody, especially in the later rounds, because you're exerting more of your energy. When somebody has their arm and they're putting their body weight basically on your back, you're exerting more energy trying to keep yourself up. It's easier for you to just drop down and let the referee step in and do his job and get back up, rather than holding your weight and their weight and making it more fatigue on you. So Dmitry Bivol, I mean, just fought a smart fight, and it was crazy because at first Dmitry Bivol was just pity patting. I'm like, okay, he's pity patting, but you know, I'm interested to see how he's gonna, establish himself towards the latest round, because like again, Canelo was coming off hard, but Canelo was trying to establish himself. Man, oh man, this was a beautiful performance by Dmitry Bivol, bro. And bro, this is why I stated, bro. I told you, I stated Canelo deserved credit for fight, because bro, I was telling people, bro, this is not a fact, a sure gone fact for Canelo. Everybody thought Canelo was gonna walk through Dmitry Bivol. No. I stated this, and y'all just saw this. I stated this since 2019, bro. Dmitry Bivol, I'm telling you, bro, I've always stated that's my favorite fighter at 175, and now you guys see why. Now, here's the problem that I do have, bro, with Canelo. How in the fuck does Canelo have a rematch clause with Dmitry Bivol when Dmitry Bivol was the champion at 175? I don't get that. I don't understand that. If anything, Dmitry Bivol should have been the one to have that. But that's that boxing for you, bro. Politics, bro. Because how in the hell does a challenger get to have a rematch clause with the champion? That don't make no sense whatsoever. That don't make no sense. But that's the politics in boxing for your ass. The challenger gets to have a rematch clause with the champion. That just makes no sense whatsoever. However, Triple G, that Triple G fight, Shout out to my brother Juan. Juan came up with me to the movies to watch the movie, and it was so funny because Juan is a Triple G fan, and he was just like, man, it would be, I remember right before the fight, he'd be like, man, it'd be just my luck if I cheered for Canelo and he'd mess around and lose, because he wanted Canelo to win because he wanted Triple G to get that trilogy. We can kiss that trilogy goodbye, bro, because, bro, the rematch, I guess Canelo has a rematch clause, so he's going to be rematching Bivol in September. So we can kiss that. We can kiss that trilogy goodbye. Triple G gonna have to fight Charlo, Andre, one of them. I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to match Triple G up with Jaime Munguia, but I don't want to make this about Triple G. I want to, man, give a big shout out to Dmitry Bivol. I am super proud of that dude. Man, I've always been a fan of Dmitry Bivol. As you guys can see, I've always believed in him. But in this fight, I was kind of weary because of the judges with Canelo, bro. I even stated, I was like, man, it's 51-49 for Canelo because of them judges, bro. But Dmitry Bivol came up, did a great job. Let me know what you guys think. What do you guys, what is your prediction for the rematch in September with Dmitry Bivol and Canelo Alvarez? But what do I know? Well, I do know Dmitry Bivol came out on top.